camper data from an earlier lesson to demonstrate how to use the countif and sumif functions. So we can use countif and sumif to gather information about our campers. So for example, I'd like to count how many of the campers are female. And to do that, I'm going to use the countif function. And the way it works is say equal countif, and then you give the range of cells that you want to count. So I want to count this range here that has gender in it, and I'm going to make this use absolute cell addressing here so that I can copy it down for the male students as well. So I'm going to use F4, and then I can put in double quotes the text that I'm looking for, female, if I want, and that'll tell me how many female students that campers we have. However, because I have, and if I copy this down the column, then I can just change the text to male, but because we have female and male already in these cells, a more efficient way to do this would be to reference that cell instead of putting the actual text in there, and then I can just copy this down and it'll count the male students as well. I can have relational operators in my countif for the criteria that I'm using for counting, so I can put equal countif, and I can again select the range of cells. Here I'm looking at the heights of the students, and I want to know how many of the students are less than 5 feet tall. And I'm going to go ahead and again use absolute addressing to make it a little easier to modify my formula. So I can do that, and I can say less than 5 feet is 60 inches, so less than 60. So this is going to count all the students who are less than 60 inches tall. And notice I need to put that condition in double quotes, and I hit enter. There are 10 students who are less than 5 feet, and I'm going to copy that and paste it down here. And now what I'd like to know is how many of them are at least 6 feet tall, greater than or equal to 72 inches. And I see that there are 2 students who are at least 6 feet tall. Here I'm going to count how many 6th and 7th graders there are. So equal to countif, grade, again F4, comma is equal to the 6, and there are 7 6th graders, and there are 12 7th graders. And then say, for example, I would like to know the height of the 6th and 7th graders, the average height. I can use this. The sumif function will sum up all the values in a given cell. Now, if I I can use sumif. I want to sum if the grade is equal to 6, and then I put what I want to sum. I want to sum their height. So this will go through, and for every 6th grader, it'll add them to the sum. Again, I'm going to use absolute addressing. Now, what I really want is, this gives me the sum of all of their heights. Well, what I really want is the average of all their heights. So I could get this by dividing by how many of them there are, or by using the count function. So here I see that the average height is 59 inches for the 6th graders. If I copy it down the column, that will give me the average height for the 7th graders. Now, there is also an average if function. So if I wanted to, I could replace this. Instead of dividing here, I could say equal average if. And that will do the same thing. So it's just a handy way. Those are just handy tools for counting and summing and averaging values in a given range. So I've left this table down here for practice for you to count how many students have passed the swim test and what their average height is as well.